O Bhagavad Gita, by which Arjuna was illumined by Lord Krishna himself, and which was composed of 18 chapters within the Mahabharata by the ancient sage Vyasa. O Divine Mother, destroyer of rebirth, who showers the nectar of oneness upon us. O Bhagavad Gita, my affectionate mother, on thee I meditate. All the Upanishads are the cows. The milker is the cowherd boy Krishna. Arjuna is the calf. People of purified intellect are the drinkers. And the milk is the supreme nectar of the Gita. My salutations to the Lord, who is the source of supreme bliss, whose grace makes the mute eloquent and the crippled cross mountains. Hari Om Tat Sat. Okay, so we began the 8th chapter, which is translated, from what I've seen, every translation translates the 8th chapter title the same, which is the Yoga of the Kingly Science and the Royal Secret. So, Raja Yoga. Raja is the king, royal. Yoga of the Kingly Science and the Royal Secret. Bearing in mind that we're still in this exploration of the nature of that absolute, but also we keep coming back to how to attain union with that. I said that we would, when we closed chapter 7 yesterday, I said we'd come back, but only for a moment. These last shlokas that we read yesterday morning, starting with 23, I'll just read them and then a little comment. Noble Arjuna, now I will tell you of the two paths of the soul at the time of physical death. One leads to rebirth, the other to liberation. If yogis who know reality leave their bodies during the 6 months of the northern passage of the sun, which is the path of light, fire, day, and bright, 2 weeks of the moon, they go directly to Brahman, absolute oneness. If yogis leave the body during the 6 months of the southern passage of the sun, which is the path of haze, night, and dark, 2 weeks of the moon, their souls pass through the light of the moon to physical rebirth. The two paths of light and dark continue forever in this world. One leads to liberation, the other to rebirth. Anyone who understands these two paths will never again be deluded. If you persevere in your study and practice of yoga, Arjuna, you will attain this understanding. Certainly, there are many benefits from scriptural study, selfless service, accepting, austerity, and charitable giving. But if you practice yoga and understand the light and dark, you will rise beyond all merit and attain the supreme and original abode. So, a little commentary on and that's if anyone gets stuck on it, as it were, this offering. Because there's Lord Krishna has introduced something here that seems like a random element. In other words, it seems like he's saying, just for a moment, it seems like he's saying that if you realize the truth and you leave the body at these times, you'll be realized. But that's not actually what's being shared. So Swami Venkatesananda says, these verses can be taken literally or symbolically, and we choose to take them symbolically. There are explorations, and Swami Chinmayananda, if someone wants to read, if someone's interested in that, you can pick up Holy Gita from Swami Chinmayananda, and you've been studying, and he'll take some time with them. But in fact, this trumps all. Swami Shivananda speaks of this path of liberation like this. He says, and this is what we're all dealing with: sow an action and reap a tendency. Sow a tendency and reap a habit. Sow a habit and reap a character. Sow a character and reap a destiny. Huh? Have we all heard?
Yeah.
We've all heard this at some point. Is it correct? Have we seen the veracity of it? Have we seen the truth of it? Through our own actions, we bring our circumstance. Through our own choices. And the actions, even though there's preconditioning, you see in the inner world, there is a choice, isn't there? Still there's a choice, because there are at least two voices inside. Huh? And the more we tune to the higher voice, then the more we follow the path of light. And that's what's being discussed here. The more we follow the voice of Krishna, which we find in the scriptures, but really this voice is the inner guru. And it does speak to us, doesn't it? That's the voice that tells us to pick up that piece of trash. That's the voice that tells us to forgive, to let it go, isn't it? That's the voice that guides us to get up early in the morning, which seems to be in competition with the one that says lay in bed longer. But both of them are inside. Yeah? So one is the voice of light, the voice of Krishna, and the other is the voice of shadow, which is also Krishna in a way, but it is the lower nature. So we're learning to discern between the two, to differentiate between the two. This is really what's being discussed here. And that weight of prior action, which creates the conditioning, which is represented by a voice or an urge or a pull, a habitual pull, right? We can say addictive pull, whatever it is that we've done in the past, that we used to enjoy, that we thought was going to lead to happiness, whatever it was, and with a lot of us in this ages, drugs, alcohol, men, women, whatever it was, whatever it is, it'll still pull. Yes?
A little bit, yes.
Yeah.
It still comes and goes.
Yeah, and it still pulls, but less and less as you follow the path of light.
Exactly.
And what does that mean? So actually your circumstance changes. That's all you have to worry about, is what you choose and what you do. That's all you have to worry about. Your circumstance changes. The charts will change.
Oh, God.
That's what I'm telling you. The charts will change. I tell you that absolutely correctly in accordance with the scripture. Destiny is not a set thing. Destiny is what you make for yourself through your own choices. So you're, as it were, working against a prior course.
Oh, I see.
Right? But that prior course may play out completely, but at some point it doesn't even make a difference because your course has been reset.
Yes.
Isn't that what happens to you that defines you? It's all about the inner world, isn't it? Happiness is an inner experience. It's not related to something happening to you. Is it correct? Yeah. Oh. But we will also say, and a pilgrim can speak to this, and this is also in the scriptures, that the outer experience will also change and adapt to the inner. It will. It will. I mean, the course will change completely. And so the one who has realized will, it turns out, leave the body during these 6 months. And they will, in fact, leave the body. It's not random. So just sharing. And they will, in fact, leave the body, no matter what the chart had said. The charts will change. If you compared the charts of Swami Shivananda, if someone would have taken his chart as a teen, would they have told him, would they have said, you're going to be a great master? No. They would have said, there's a possibility. In the same way as was the case with the Buddha.
Yeah.
But then after, someone will look at the chart and say, well, of course, it's right here. It's very mysterious. Oh. It's very mysterious. So predestiny is a concept. It's not an actual fact. The destiny is fluid. And this entire universe, this entire experience adapts to the destiny that you create through your own thoughts and words and actions. And you see it in a very limited way. You see it. You see that the friends and experiences that you have, they change. They're not the same as they were. And why? Because you made different choices. And those different choices were not predestined, because clearly there's choice on the inside. On the outside, you may not be able to change your circumstance right away, but you can change the inside. You can change the way you relate to things, can't you? And by changing the way you relate to things, you can change the way you see things too, can't you? What was a problem becomes an opportunity if you see correctly, yes? And when it becomes an opportunity, then the experience, then we get what we call a test. We might get a couple of them. We pass the test, the nature of the experience changes. And is this all predestined in the stars? Well, everything's here. So we could say from one perspective, yes. But you see, the thing that we miss is there's no individual here. There's everything here. Everything's here. So everything is possible. So, okay. We'll move on then to chapter 8. It seems an important point. So if someone heard something yesterday that said, well, there's a random aspect, this has to happen, this has to happen. I'll wait and see what happens. That's not it. You're shaping your destiny. You're doing it right now. Every moment, you're doing it right now. You're picking what your future life looks like. But really, you're picking what your current situation is, what this now is. Yes? What is this now? And what we call the future, it is really imagination, isn't it? But also, we could say, in the future, there is a now that we will experience. And so we can say, what will that experience be? Well, that will be determined by the choices that I make now. Right? Okay. So we get to this chapter 9, Yoga of the Regal Science and Royal Secret. A little bit of commentary from Swami Satchidananda. He says, this chapter is the regal science and the royal secret. The name is given to create an interest. And he says, a secret, please tell me. Anything secret creates curiosity. If I am talking to you, but I keep my fist clenched the whole time, after a while, you won't even be listening to me anymore. You'll be saying, What's in that fist? Yes, dear. It's a royal secret. That's why some scriptures are kept secretive also. You'll wonder, what is it? I'd like to know, but I can't until I get initiated. He says, many things are like that. In some cultures, nobody sees the bride's face until she comes to the wedding hall. Then for the first time, someone is going to see her face. Anything sacred should be a little secret too. Sacred and secret go together because anything that's valuable isn't simply dropped here and there. You can take out an imitation diamond anywhere and put it down, even on the bathroom sink, leave it there and go. But you don't leave a real diamond that easily. You don't even wear it every day, just on special occasions. You put on the ring, go to the party, come home, put the ring back in a velvet case. Why? Because it has so much value. Something cheap is available on the road or on a park bench, but something of great value is sacred. The most valuable thing is the truth of wisdom. Such pearls are not to be just cast out to be trampled on. If there's something that has merit, keep it sacred. Even mantras are not just openly told to the public, and that's why this whole chapter is called The Regal Science and Royal Secret. It's royal, and the king doesn't come cheaply. So, and we could say what Krishna shares in this chapter is the highest truth about nature of Lord and nature of universe. So, and you might hear it on Google, but if you hear it in the right circumstance, then it will rock your world. So,
Can you say that again, Swami?
I said you might find what he shares is the highest truth on YouTube or Google, but if you hear it in this sense, the sense that he's sharing, then it will rock your world. So here we go. The Blessed Lord said, because your faith is not undermined by flaw seeking, I will now reveal to you the most profound and secret knowledge. When you combine this knowledge with personal realization, you will be completely free of even the worst wrongdoing. This is the royal secret, the kingly science, the supreme purifier. Righteous and imperishable, it can be directly realized. So he's sharing that what he is sharing here can be known to be true directly, personally. Those without sincere belief, Shraddha is the word, of course, in this Dharma, will not realize who I am, Arjuna, and must therefore return to the mortal world of death after death. Remember for a second when we talk of Shraddha or faith, faith has to be earned. We have to go through a process in order to have faith. We all have. The 13th chapter is Yoga of the Three Types of Faith. We all have faith in something. And everyone here on spiritual path has at least a little faith in spiritual path. At least a little. It might just be very practical that the yoga asanas help the body. It might be very practical. It might be coming of a conclusion, a settled conclusion about the teaching or the nature of the teacher, the selflessness of the teacher, something like that. In other words, we'll find that we have some faith related to this path. You can't have more than that without going through a process, without earning it, without reaching it. In other words, it doesn't happen by accident. And for those of us that find that we have some faith, we'll find that we have some doubt also. Is it true? And the resolution where we come into the faith that Lord Krishna is speaking of here, it doesn't happen by accident. It's not random, and it's not predestined. Speaking of destiny, it's actually not predestined either. If you're desirous of it, you can't just say to yourself, okay, then I have it, as many do. Right? Many would say this, I have it. I have complete and absolute faith in you, Jesus. You are my life. We can say it, but do we have it?
And God help you when you say it, because
Right.
you'll be tested on it.
It'll be tested. We'll be tested on it, which is actually helping us to steal it, helping us to make it firm. And that's, in fact, part of the process that needs to happen in order to have the faith that Krishna is talking about. And just sitting, listening to the Bhagavad Gita every day won't do it. Even being in the company of someone who's realized the truth and who lives it won't do it in and of itself. We each have to take this path ourselves. And what will be required is to live according to the faith that you have. You have to put that in practice. You have to put it in practice. You have to step into it, as it were. And stepping into it, and yes, making the resolves are part of that. I will, whatever. Yeah? I will forgive everyone for everything. Whatever, you take a resolve. And by the way, it's timely, isn't it? What's today?
31st.
New Year's Eve day.
Oh.
It's the day that we take resolves. We'll have a short special workshop after Tattva Bodha workshop today at 1 p.m. 30 minutes, something like that, just to talk about resolves and how we might approach just some reflection on it. According to the faith that you have, you resolve. This is the process, isn't it? You resolve. I will do this. I will live this way. What did Swami do? Okay, you get it. I will walk across the country. I'll probably die doing it, but I will do it. So you take the resolve. You live according to it. It has to be firm. And what happens? Tests, teachings. Yes? Is it so, Hari? Yeah. You're on pilgrimage too, aren't you? Are you on pilgrimage? Yeah. Jai Ma. And so you can get there, and you will get there if you submit yourself and follow it and keep living according to the faith that you have. But you have to walk into it. And you're pushing the envelope too. Huh? If you go too far, you're going to fall. It's okay. You pick yourself up and you keep on going. But if you're really pushing the envelope, and those are the A students, because the teaching can come very fast and the test can be quite severe. Quite something. Om Hari.
Yeah, I'm thinking if living according to your faith increases your faith, what is it that decreases? Is it not living according to your faith?
It resolves the doubt. Doubt cannot be ignored, but it can be resolved. Huh? Mm-hmm. Krishnadas said something. I'm just going to use this as an example. Yesterday, when we were coming back up, Krishnadas was talking about that scientists had made brain cells in a petri dish, and they have the ability to learn to play ping pong. He was sharing pretty much exactly like this, right? So he asked the question, do they have a soul? And I had to smile, and I said, no, they don't have a soul. They are soul. Mm. It's just we continually get it backwards here. So there's doubt. There's doubt in the teaching. There's doubt in the concept that God is everywhere. Right? And that doubt will be natural. Because that's the instinctive nature. And what you're working to do is to come to a place of unity. You're trying to resolve. You're trying to come into a place of being whole and complete, yes? And the unity is with all, by the way. I mean, we're not just painting a rosy picture when we say that. The unity, coming into the unity, is something which leaves you absent of the feeling of separation. It doesn't happen by accident. It happens with strong intention and with strong commitment. But it happens. for the one who really follows the path. And it's not the predestined one that follows the path that gets it. It's the one who says, I will do this. I will do this. I will take the steps. I will show up for every satsang. I will practice my asanas. I will serve. I will do whatever I can do. And that's that pushing the envelope in whatever faith we have. Right? And then what happens to that doubt? That doubt is there. Does that doubt remain within the individual being? Well, when one knows that all is universal soul, then, and in a complete way, that is, having worked it out, that doubt is over. The doubt is just simply within us a factor that's helping us to get to know what's real. Right? But haven't you dealt with doubts about practical things? You doubted that you could do this or do that, and then you learned that you could. Did that doubt continue once you knew that you could?
Until you've become proficient enough.
Yeah, when you become proficient in it, it just simply disappears, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It doesn't raise its head any longer.
No.
There's a doubt about success in terms of overcoming an addiction. Does that doubt continue? Does it remain strong once one has taken the path and done what's needed to be done and made the choices and put them into practice and lived them? It doesn't, because then you know, because you've done it. That's what happens to the doubt. So it doesn't remain in that form. It remains as in that form as long as you haven't resolved it yet. And you can't resolve it by running away from it, by hiding from it. So the shraddha that you have, the faith that you have, we have to live according to that. And we really have to be willing to push the envelope. Yeah? And then as you learn, you learn. And once you've learned, you've learned. Even the kingly science and the royal secret, it's so, even so. So here, we'll share what he says it is, and then we'll close. But he says, those with sincere belief, with shraddha, and it's not really belief, you see, it finally is a knowing. But here, in this dharma, in this path, in this teaching, in this life approach, well, those without it will not realize who I am, Arjuna, and must therefore return to the mortal world of death after death. And so here's what he says. Unmanifest, I pervade the entire universe. All creatures exist in me, yet I am not contained in any of them, or all of them. So this is the beginning of this secret, this royal secret. We hear God is inside. He says, no. All of this is within me. All of this is within me. I am not within it. I am not contained by it. I am not affected by it. All of this is within me. So wherever you go, you're not leaving the container. Now behold the mystery of my divine yoga. All creatures in truth do not exist in me. Though I bring forth and support all that exists, I myself am not contained in them. All the creation moving about abides in me, even as the great winds going here and there are actually resting in space. And we'll continue, and we'll take a little bit more time with that starting tomorrow morning. It seems like, from a practical standpoint, it seems like God is within. For the Raja Yoga, the whole practice is about finding God within, isn't it? Yeah. For Karma Yoga, not so much. Interestingly. For Bhakti Yoga, definitely not. Right? For Bhakti Yoga, the practice is finding God without. Isn't it? Yeah. But since God is all and all of this is contained within, both will work.
Can you explain that again, Swami?
Since all there is God, both will work. If you strive to find God without, you'll find God. For Bhakti Yoga, one who devotes oneself completely to God, regardless of inside or outside, will find.
It's very comforting.
For the Karma Yoga, one who wants to serve the one in all and really devotes to it will find. For the Raja Yogan, who's striving to find God within, will find. For Jnana Yogan, who really, it has to do with the strength of resolve, living according to the faith. What's our priority? What do we want most? Like this. Oh. Okay, so we'll come back to the kingly science and the royal secret in the morning. Any question or comment? Anything that resonates?
Reminds me of the Ishta.
Isha.
I'm trying to think Spanish and transmit to you, but I'm not so good at that. Are you? Okay. Okay. Yes, you are, aren't you? God bless you. Very happy that you're with us. Thank you.
The Ishta Upanishad.
Isha Upanishad, yes.
Right. The first verse. God covers everything.
Yeah, all of this is covered. To be covered by the Lord.
Yeah.
Indeed. Oh, it's a practice as well. Indeed. So it's Upanishad. It's Bhagavad Gita. It's Krishna. And then Mother, when she says, and Divine Mother, of course, is the same one. And she says, I am this spirit within you and this spirit within you, etc., etc. If we actually get it, we'll say, well, you're this spirit in every being, which means you're everywhere. And are you just inside of each building, each being? And really, it's the other way, as it were. God is inside, but also God is outside. And because God is outside, God is inside. Because all of this is within the container, which means it's all made of God. Which is how you can find God inside. Okay. So we close? Oh, page 174 in the chant book. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Surandim Pushtivardhanam Orvai Rukaneva Bandhanan Rachor Mokshiyamam Retat Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Surandim Pushtivardhanam Orvai Rukaneva Bandhanan Rachor Mokshiyamam Retat Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Surandim Pushtivardhanam Orvai Rukameva Bandhanan Rachor Mokshiyamam Retat Om Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha Sarve Shantu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Makashir Dukhabhakvade Asato Ma Satkamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Mritam Gamaya. Om Purnamida Purnamidam Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. And universal prayer. O adorable Lord of mercy and love, salutations and prostrations unto thee. Thou art omnipresent, omnipotent, and omniscient. Thou art Satchidananda. Thou art existence, knowledge, and bliss absolute. Thou art the indweller of all beings. Grant us an understanding heart, equal vision, balanced mind, faith, devotion, and wisdom. Grant us inner spiritual strength to resist temptation and to control the mind. Free us from egoism, lust, anger, greed, hatred, and jealousy. Fill our hearts with divine virtues. Let us behold thee in all these names and forms. Let us serve thee in all these names and forms. Let us ever remember thee. Let us ever sing thy glories. Let thy name be ever on our lips. Let us abide in thee forever and ever. On below Sakura Shivananda Maharaj Ki, and for all the saints and sages of all the traditions. Let's stand for Arati, and Arati begins on page 210.